My name is Dorothy Kavanaugh. I am 67 years old. For 39 years I lived in the same house, a modest two-bedroom bungalow on Chestnut Street with a small garden where I grew tomatoes and a front porch where I drank my morning coffee. It was not a mansion. It was not impressive, but it was mine. It was my home. It was the only home my children had ever known. My son, Preston, took it from me while I slept. He did not break in. He did not steal the deed. He did not hold a gun to my head. He simply convinced me to sign papers I did not understand, transferred the house into his name, and then sold it to a developer without telling me. He took the money, $320,000, and deposited it into an account that I could not access. And then he went home to his comfortable house, slept in his comfortable bed, and did not lose a single minute of sleep over what he had done. I found out when a sheriff's deputy knocked on my door and handed me an eviction notice. I had 30 days to leave. The house had been sold. The new owners were taking possession. I had nowhere to go. My husband, Wallace, had passed away 8 years ago. He was the one who handled the finances. He was the one who trusted people. He was the one who believed that our son would never hurt us. Wallace was wrong, and I was paying the price for his trust. I raised Preston and his younger sister, Bridget, on that small bungalow. Wallace worked at the post office. I worked as a cashier at the local grocery store. We did not have much, but we had enough. Enough to keep the heat on in the winter, enough to put food on the table, enough to send our children to school with clean clothes and full stomachs. Preston was always the ambitious one. He wanted more. He wanted better. He wanted to escape the small town and the small house and the small life that his parents had given him. I understood that. I encouraged it. I told him he could be anything he wanted to be. What I did not realize was that he wanted to become someone who did not have parents like us. Someone who had never known poverty. Someone who had never clipped coupons or driven a used car or shopped at thrift stores. He moved to the city after college. He got a job in real estate. He married a woman named Miranda whose father owned a construction company. They bought a large house in an expensive neighborhood. They drove luxury cars. They took vacations to Europe. And they stopped coming home for Christmas. At first, Preston called once a month, then once every 2 months, then only on birthdays and holidays. The calls became shorter. His voice became more distant. He asked about the house. He asked about the deed. He asked if we had a will, if we had life insurance, if we had updated our estate planning. I thought he was being responsible. I thought he was looking out for us. I thought he loved us. I was wrong. The trouble started 5 years ago. Wallace was already gone. I was alone in the bungalow. The roof was leaking. The furnace was failing. The property taxes had gone up. I could not afford the repairs. I could not afford the taxes. I was drowning. Preston came to visit. It was the first time he had been home in 2 years. He looked at the leaky roof. He looked at the failing furnace. He looked at the stack of unpaid bills on my kitchen table. "Mom," he said, "you can't stay here. This house is falling apart. You need help." "I know," I said, "but I don't know what to do. Your father handled all of this. I don't know who to call. I don't know how to pay for it." Preston put his arm around me. He smiled. It was a warm smile, a trustworthy smile. "Let me help you, Mom. I work in real estate. I know how to handle these things. Sign the house over to me and I'll take care of everything. I'll make the repairs. I'll pay the taxes. You can live here rent-free for the rest of your life." "You would do that?" "Of course, you're my mother. I love you." Those words, those 4 words, they were the key that unlocked my defenses, because I wanted so badly to believe them, because I was lonely and scared and desperate, because I trusted my son. I signed the papers. I did not read them carefully. Preston had a lawyer. The lawyer was nice. The lawyer said everything was in order. The lawyer worked for Preston. I signed. And I lost everything. For 2 years, nothing changed. I still lived in the bungalow. I still grew my tomatoes. I still drank my coffee on the front porch. Preston made the repairs. He paid the taxes. He called me once a month to check in. I thought everything was fine. I thought my son had saved me. Then the calls stopped. The repairs stopped. The tax payments stopped. I tried to reach Preston. He did not answer my calls. He did not answer my texts. He did not respond to my voicemails. I called Bridget. She lived 2 hours away. She was a nurse. She had a husband and 2 children. She came to visit as often as she could. "Something is wrong, Bridget," I said. "I can't reach your brother." "Let me try," she said. She tried. He did not answer her either. A month later, the sheriff's deputy knocked on my door. The eviction notice was real. The sale was real. Preston had sold the house to a developer named Horizon Properties. The sale price was $320,000. The money had been deposited into an account controlled by Preston and Miranda. I had 30 days to leave. I called Bridget. She drove over that same night. She read the eviction notice. Her face went white, then it went red. "I'm going to kill him," she said. "I'm going to find him and I'm going to kill him." "Violence won't help," I said. "I need a lawyer." "We need a lawyer, and we need to find Preston." We found him. He was not hiding. He was living in his large house in his expensive neighborhood. He answered the door when we knocked. He was wearing a bathrobe. He was drinking coffee. He looked comfortable. He looked peaceful. "Mom," he said, "Bridget, what are you doing here?" "You sold my house," I said. "You sold my home, you took the money, and you didn't tell me." Preston's face did not change. He did not look guilty. He did not look ashamed. He looked annoyed. "Mom, that house was in my name. I had the right to sell it. The house was supposed to be mine. You promised I could live there for the rest of my life. And you did for 2 years, but things changed. Miranda and I needed the money for an investment. We had to make a decision. You made a decision. You didn't include me in it. Because you wouldn't have understood. You don't understand business, Mom. You don't understand investments. You're just a cashier. You've always been just a cashier." The words hit me like a slap. Just a cashier. The job I had worked for 30 years to support him. The job that had put food in his mouth and clothes on his back and a roof over his head. Just a cashier. "You're a monster," Bridget said. "You're a monster and I hope you rot in hell." Preston shrugged. "I'm sorry you feel that way, but the sale is final. The money is spent. There's nothing you can do." He closed the door. He went back to his coffee. He went back to his comfortable life. And we stood on his porch, homeless and helpless and heartbroken. We hired a lawyer, a woman named Geraldine Shaw. She was 72 years old. She had retired from a big firm and now worked out of a small office above a bakery. She was fierce. She was angry. She took our case for a small fee. "Your son has committed fraud," she said. "Elder financial abuse. Breach of fiduciary duty. He could go to prison for this." "Can we get the house back?" Bridget asked. Geraldine shook her head. "The house is gone. The developer has already started renovations, but we can sue for the proceeds. We can sue for damages. We can make sure he doesn't get away with this." "Do it," I said. The lawsuit took 8 months. Preston fought it with everything he had. He hired expensive lawyers. He claimed that I had given him the house as a gift. He claimed that he had made the repairs and paid the taxes and was entitled to the proceeds. He claimed that I had agreed to the sale. But Geraldine was relentless. She found emails where Preston had bragged to a friend about how he was finally getting rid of that old house, and how his mother was too stupid to know what she signed. She found bank records showing that Preston had used the money to buy a vacation home and a new boat. She found witnesses who testified that Preston had promised me a lifetime tenancy. The judge was a woman named O'Brien. She had raised 3 children on her own. She understood what it meant to be betrayed by someone you loved. "Mr. Preston Kavanaugh," she said from the bench, You are a disgrace. Your mother trusted you. She loved you. She sacrificed for you. And you repaid that trust by stealing her home. I am ordering you to pay the full amount of the sale to your mother plus damages plus legal fees. I am also referring your case for criminal prosecution. You may be going to prison." Preston's face went white. Miranda, who had accompanied him to court, stood up and walked out. She did not look back. "Mom," Preston said. "Mom, I'm sorry, I didn't mean." "Don't," I said. "Don't you dare." The bailiff led him away. The money was returned. $320,000 plus damages plus legal fees. It sat in my bank account, a number on a screen, meaningless and cold. But the house was gone. Horizon Properties had demolished the bungalow. They had torn down the front porch. They had ripped out the tomato garden. They had cleared the land and built a strip mall where my home used to be. I drove past the strip mall one time, just once. It was gray and ugly and loud. There was a nail salon and a pizza place and a cell phone store. There was nothing left of my bungalow, nothing left of my tomatoes, nothing left of the front porch where I had drunk my coffee for 39 years. I sat in my car and cried. Then I drove away. Bridget wanted me to move in with her. She and her husband, Frank, had a spare bedroom. They had room. They wanted me there. But I could not. I could not leave the memories behind. I could not start over in someone else's home, no matter how much I loved them. So I did something else. I bought a small RV, a used one 20 years old with a faded paint job and an engine that coughed when it started. I had it inspected. I had it repaired. I packed my things, not much, just photographs, a few clothes, Wallace's old watch, the quilt that my grandmother had made. And I left. I have been on the road for 2 years now. I have seen mountains and oceans and deserts. I have watched sunrises over the Grand Canyon and sunsets over the Pacific. I have met people in campgrounds and diners and rest stops. I have told them my story. Some of them have cried. Some of them have cursed Preston's name. All of them have bought me a cup of coffee. I am not bitter. I used to be. For the first 6 months, I was so angry that I could not sleep. I would lie in my RV, in some parking lot somewhere, staring at the ceiling, thinking about the bungalow and the tomato garden and the son who had taken everything from me. But anger is a heavy thing to carry, and I am old, my back hurts, my hands shake, I cannot carry anger anymore. So I let it go. I forgave Preston, not because he deserved it, because I deserved peace. Preston is in prison now. 18 months minimum security for fraud. He writes me letters, long letters, apologetic letters. He talks about his cell, his roommate, the food. He talks about how Miranda divorced him and took the house and the car and the boat. He talks about how he has lost everything. He talks about how he wishes he could go back and undo everything he did. I read the letters. I do not respond. Not because I am cruel, because I have nothing left to say. Bridget asked me once if I would ever forgive him. I told her the truth. I have forgiven him, I said. But forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Forgiveness does not mean trust. Forgiveness means I am no longer letting his betrayal control my life. Forgiveness means I am free. Do you ever want to see him again? I don't know, maybe someday, when he gets out, when he has proven that he has changed, but not now, not yet. She nodded, she understood. Bridget came to visit me last month. She drove 6 hours to meet me at a campground in the mountains. She brought her children, my grandchildren, Lily and Samuel. They are teenagers now. They hugged me and told me they missed me. I hugged them back and told them I missed them too. We sat around a campfire. Bridget made hot chocolate. We roasted marshmallows. The stars came out, millions of them, so bright that they seemed close enough to touch. Mom, Bridget said, are you happy? I thought about the question. I thought about the bungalow. I thought about the tomato garden. I thought about Preston, sitting in a prison cell, writing letters that I would never answer. Yes, I said, I am happy. Not because my life is perfect, because I chose to keep living. I chose to keep moving. I chose to see the world instead of sitting in one place and crying about what I lost. Bridget smiled. It was a sad smile. I miss you. We all miss you. When are you coming home? This is my home now, I said, patting the side of the RV. The road is my home. The mountains are my home. The sky is my home. But what about us? I took her hand. You are always in my heart. I carry you with me everywhere I go, but I cannot live in your spare bedroom, Bridget. I cannot sit in your living room and watch your television and wait for my turn to die. I still have life in me. I still have places to see. I hope you understand. She nodded. She did not understand. Not really, but she accepted it. Last week my RV broke down outside of a small town called Silver Creek. The engine made a noise like a dying animal and then stopped. I coasted to the side of the road. I called a tow truck. The mechanic was a young man named Carlos. He looked at the engine. He shook his head. "Ma'am," he said, "this engine is shot. It's going to cost more to fix than the RV is worth." "How much?" 3,000, maybe 4. I had the money from the house, but I had been saving it, hoarding it, afraid to spend it because once it was gone there would be nothing left of the bungalow, nothing left of Wallace, nothing left of my old life. "Fix it," I said. Carlos looked at me. He was young, maybe 25. He had kind eyes. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." He fixed it. It took 3 days. I stayed in a motel down the street. I walked around Silver Creek. It was a small town, the kind of town where everyone knows everyone. The kind of town where my bungalow used to be. On the 3rd day, I went back to the garage. The RV was running. Carlos had done good work. "How did you learn to be a mechanic?" I asked him. "My dad taught me," he said. "He owned this garage before me. He died 2 years ago, cancer." "I'm sorry." Carlos shrugged. "He taught me everything he knew. He taught me how to fix engines. He taught me how to be honest. He taught me that family is the only thing that matters." He looked at me. "What about you, ma'am? What brought you to Silver Creek?" I told him not the whole story, just enough. The bungalow, the sun, the betrayal, the RV. Carlos listened. When I finished, he was quiet for a long time. "I have a son too," he said. "He's 6 years old. He's the best thing in my life. I cannot imagine him doing what your son did, but I also cannot imagine the pain you must feel." "It passes," I said, "or it doesn't. You learn to live with it." Carlos nodded. He walked me to my RV. He opened the door for me. He did not charge me for the labor. He said it was on the house. He said that sometimes people need a break, and he was in a position to give one. I cried when I drove away. Not because I was sad, because there are still good people in the world, because Carlos, a stranger, had shown me more kindness than my own son had shown me in years. I am writing this from a campground in the desert. The sun is setting. The sky is orange and red and purple. My RV is parked next to a cactus that is taller than I am. There is a family in the site next to mine. A mother, a father, 2 little girls. They are roasting marshmallows. They are laughing. I watch them. I think about my own children. Bridget, who loves me. Preston, who destroyed me. I think about the bungalow. I think about the tomato garden. I think about Wallace, who has been gone for so long that his voice is starting to fade from my memory. I do not regret buying the RV. I do not regret leaving. I do not regret forgiving Preston, even though he is in prison and will likely never be part of my life again. I regret only one thing. I regret signing those papers. I regret trusting him when my gut told me not to. I regret letting my loneliness cloud my judgment. But regret is also heavy, and I am done carrying heavy things. Last night I called Bridget. She answered on the first ring. "Mom, are you okay?" "I'm fine," I said. "I'm in the desert. It's beautiful." "Are you coming home for Christmas?" I thought about it. Christmas, snow, the smell of pine, Bridget's cooking, Lily and Samuel opening presents, Frank making jokes, a warm house, a real bed. Yes, I said, I'll come home for Christmas. Really? Really? I'll park the RV in your driveway. I'll sleep in your spare bedroom. I'll eat your food and drink your wine and tell your children stories about when their mother was young and foolish. Bridget laughed. It was a good sound. I can't wait. Neither can I. We talked for an hour about nothing, about everything, about the weather, about her job, about Lily's grades and Samuel's soccer team, about ordinary things, the things that families talk about when they are not betraying each other. When I hung up, I looked at the stars. They were everywhere, millions of them, billions. I thought about Preston. I wondered if he could see the stars from his prison cell. I wondered if he looked up at the sky and thought about the bungalow. I wondered if he was sorry, really sorry, not sorry that he got caught, sorry that he hurt me. I will never know, and that is okay. The next morning I received a letter. It was forwarded from Bridget's address. The envelope was worn. The handwriting was shaky. It was from Preston. I opened it, I read it. I will share it with you now. Dear Mom, I know you won't respond to this. I know you probably won't even read it, but I need to write it anyway. I need to say the words even if no one hears them. I am sorry. Those 2 words are not enough. They will never be enough, I know that. But they are all I have. They are all I have ever had, and I waited too long to use them. I think about the bungalow every day. I think about the tomato garden. I think about the front porch where you drank your coffee. I think about the kitchen where you made cookies. I think about you, Mom, sitting in your chair, reading your books, waiting for me to call. I didn't call. I was too busy being someone I thought I wanted to be. Someone important. Someone rich. Someone who didn't have a mother who worked as a cashier and wore second-hand clothes and drove a rusty car. I was ashamed of you, Mom, and I am more ashamed of that than anything else. You deserved better. You deserved a son who called, who visited, who helped, not a son who stole your house and left you with nothing. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect a response. I don't expect to ever see you again. But I want you to know that I am sorry. I am so sorry. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to become someone you would not be ashamed to call your son. I love you, Mom. I know you probably don't believe that, but it's true. I love you. I always have. I just forgot. I got lost. And by the time I found my way back, the door was closed. I hope you are happy. I hope you are safe. I hope you are somewhere beautiful doing something you love. Your son, Preston. I folded the letter. I put it in my pocket next to Wallace's watch. I watched the sunrise. The desert turned gold. The cactus cast long shadows. The family next to me started their day, packing up their tent, loading their car, laughing. I did not write back. I will not write back. Not because I am angry, because I have said everything I need to say. But I kept the letter. I will keep it forever, a reminder of what I lost, of what I survived, of what I still have. I am Dorothy Kavanaugh. I am 67 years old. I live in a 20-year-old RV with a rebuilt engine and a faded paint job. I have no house. I have no tomato garden. I have no son who speaks to me. But I have the road. I have the stars. I have a daughter who loves me and grandchildren who miss me and a mechanic in a small town who fixed my engine for free. And I have hope. Hope that Preston will change. Hope that one day when he gets out of prison, he will be the son I always knew he could be. Hope that he will find his way back not to the bungalow is gone, but to me, to whatever is left of me. I will leave the door open, not wide open, not yet, but cracked just enough. Because that is what mothers do. We leave the door cracked, we wait, we hope. And we keep driving. If you are listening to this story, and if you have a child who has hurt you, I want you to know something. You are not alone. There are millions of parents out there who have been betrayed, abandoned, forgotten. Millions of us who sit in our empty houses, staring at our phones, waiting for a call that never comes. Do not wait forever. Do not waste your life waiting for someone who has chosen not to see you. Get in your car, get on a bus. Buy an RV if you have to. Go somewhere beautiful. See the mountains, see the ocean, see the desert. Life is short, shorter than you think. I learned that when Wallace died. I relearned it when Preston sold my house. I am learning it again every day on the road. Do not let someone else's betrayal become your prison. You have the key. Use it. My son left us homeless while he slept in peace, but I did not stay homeless. I found a home on the road. I found peace in the mountains. I found freedom in letting go. And now when I sleep in peace too. Not because my son apologized, not because I got my house back, not because everything is fixed. Because I chose to stop being a victim. I chose to start living. I chose to forgive. And that choice set me free.